Pisces, welcome to your weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is going to be for February 22nd through the 28th of 2016. I'm Athen, and this is for Sidereal Astrology, very different from mainstream astrology. If you are new to the channel, be sure to click the link for more information. All right, Pisces, so this week, right on Monday, we got a full moon illuminating your 6th house of everything that's about the immediate environment, your health, your routine, your diet, specifically if you've been involved with anything in this area for the past 6 months. So if 6 months ago you started something new with your routine or your work, anything in your daily or immediate environment can be coming to a high point now with this full moon. So if that's the case, but if not, at the very least, a lot of you are coming to an awareness, coming to an insight of how you can have this more, grounded perspective on your spirituality. You know, the 6th house opposite the 12th is all about grounding our spiritual selves, through whether it's through our work, whether it's through self-improvement, the embetterment, helping others. These kinds of things can all be illuminated and really makes it an excellent early part of the week for those things. Because the full moon is a time of higher energy. And, through that higher energy, it's about implementing and doing a status check and saying, okay, where can we then implement this for the next cycle in terms of the next 6 months in this area. So that's going to be the high point of the week in terms of energy here on Monday. And it is a very spiritual time, and it's a very spiritual week. So although the energies are stronger, higher in that sense, it's very internalized, especially for you Pisceans, because it's involving this 12th house. You're going to have this opposition with Neptune with this full moon in your 12th house, which has been, spiritualizing your inner self. Your 12th house is your psyche, it's your unconscious, it's, your spiritual side. And so over many years, 7 or so years with Neptune here, there's been this importance of finding that faith, that trust, that meditative time, connecting to the present moment. And all of that can be very liberating, can be very freeing, which is your natural tendency with Aquarius associated with that 12th house. So it's all about seeing again that there really is no difference between the everyday world and the spiritual world, if you will, and how it can be applied, and having the presence and all that in the everyday sphere, and even putting in the routine into your spiritual life so that you can have that presence, because meditation takes, discipline, it takes effort, it takes some sort of routine and structure, and so does anything else that really helps you access spirituality. So it's seeing them as one and the same and really bridging this gap, and I think it's going to be a very insightful week in terms of yourself spiritually, but also what you can do on an everyday level to apply and practice this stuff, whether it's through helping others, whether it's through embedding yourself, your self-improvement, or anything related to that. Now, Jupiter has been in this 6th house, so there has been a lot of wisdom and insight in regards to this for the past 6 months. Now, that's a bit reflective right now. So if you are feeling the more internalized nature of the daily routines, the daily tasks, the self-improvement, that's good. You want to be reflecting on it with Jupiter here. Now, Jupiter is going to be opposing up to Chiron on Tuesday, which makes this a very important week in this regards, because this is a very collective, very slow-moving transit. So this has been going on since early November, and this is the second aspect with this. And because it's involving your traditional ruler, Jupiter, there is this healing taking place with you, with your identity, with your goals, your ambitions in life, but who you are, which is, again, reflective right now because that ruler is retrograde. So going within, as I'm sure you have been, and learning more about yourself on that inner level, I think will just naturally transpire into healing. Okay, and it might even be reflecting, too, on your career or your legacy or productive things also, which then could shift, and maybe you can gain some insight about, and it can take on a new direction Tuesday onward, where maybe you feel rejuvenated as a result. But it takes time for these very slow-moving planets. So I think as the week unfolds, while it's still within that 1-degree orb, you are just, integrating this shift in this new direction, perhaps understanding about the importance of healing, of understanding more about yourself. And the more you understand about yourself, naturally, the healing comes naturally. So that's the early part of the week, in essence. And then Wednesday and Thursday, we do have Mercury sextiling up to Saturn. So there's a good groundedness with our minds. I think lately you have been perhaps thinking more about your ideals lately, or maybe group or community things with Mercury in that 11th house. Could even be enjoying the ideals or the group stuff also, which is quite nice. So it's great for that stuff this part of the week, and maybe even home and family and relationships could be quite grounding since Mercury rules those areas as well. Now, a little bit later on Friday, Mercury will then be sextiling up to Uranus from your first house. So here there's this, freedom. And I think it's just trying new things, but it's really about a freedom to be yourself. It's a lot of the self-oriented energy, especially because your modern ruler, Neptune, is associated with this full moon. There's a lot of insight coming in about who you are, what you want out of life, what your purpose is, these kinds of things, what your work is, your spiritual work. So with this, though, around the weekend, there's maybe something new, something you might feel like wanting to change up with yourself, maybe the self-image, trying new things. I think all of that can be quite enjoyable and can be quite exciting going into the weekend. Then over the weekend, the last aspect of the week does have the sun going over Neptune, really illuminating again the self, because this is your ruler Neptune with the sun going over it. So the sun always just shines, it just illuminates a lot of things that have been being illuminated with your spiritual side and your unconscious, but now specifically with your identity, the importance of your listening to your intuition, and how you're, of course, so much more than anything we can ever conceptualize. So it's good to maybe do some of that retreating, but again, I think a really healthy way of working with these energies is applying it and grounding, especially with all this energy in that sixth house. All right, Pisces, so have a great week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next week.